Sandotrini, a San Fernando story. Mel the Deportee. Part 6. Mel and Vernon, aka Jimi Hendrix, prepared to commit their first serious crime together. They each borrowed money with hopes of repaying the loans after a successful heist. They went to Silla's bar on Bonaventure Road in Gasparillo, where they drank beers with shots of white rum. They had to get to know each other a lot better before they risked their lives and their freedom together. Before they left the bar, they bonded with a single purpose of robbing a payroll at gunpoint. Vernon's first job was to get a car. He visited his friend Chris at a parking lot on Chancery Lane. It was a short walk from the San Fernando General Hospital. Chris worked there as a valet and parking lot attendant. Chris worked with his friend Teddy, who operated from a van parked in a corner of the car lot. Teddy operated a portable key-cutting machine from his van. When he saw a car which matched one of the cars on his snatch list, he signaled Chris to bring the keys to him. His job as a valet required Chris to store the keys after he parked a car. It took only a few minutes for Teddy to duplicate the keys and signal Chris to pick up the original keys. Teddy then opened the car and looked for documents which revealed the address of the owner of the car. Teddy was able to steal any car on his list to be rented out to criminals as getaway cars or to be stripped for parts. Teddy also rented out stolen guns to his clients, and Vernon rented 2 guns. He wrapped them in plastic and concealed them in a 10-pound bag of rice which he bought from the nearby High-Low supermarket. 2 days later, it was Friday, and Vernon pulled up to Harold's joiner's shop where Mel lived with his great-uncle. Vernon drove a stolen car which was illegally rented from Teddy. They headed for the construction site at Embacade in southwest San Fernando. The plan was to be on the site when the paymaster arrived. It was a very short ride from Cipero and Sutton Streets to Embacade. They arrived at 2:15 p.m. and parked close to the gate of the construction site. Mel opened the hood of the car and asked one of the workers for a bucket to pour water into his radiator. He was given a bucket, and he was directed to a spigot. When he picked up the bucket, he saw the words, Lee's Construction. They were printed in bright yellow. The bucket became a major prop in his plan. As he walked past the open door of the supervisor's shack, his eyes scanned the inside of the small office. A large fan whirled noisily above the head of the supervisor who was busy checking a ledger. Mel assumed that it was the pay sheet. He was correct. The supervisor shouted loudly, "When is this man coming?" "It's almost 2:30. Mel ignored him and walked out of the gate, with the empty bucket. Vernon stood in front of the car with both hands on the raised hood. He asked Mel under his breath, "Well, boss man? What are we going to do now?" Mel gave him a thumbs-up gesture and gave the bucket to Vernon with the instructions to remove the guns from the bag of rice and place one of them in the bucket. While Mel removed the plastic covering from the gun in the bucket, a car stopped on the opposite side of the gate. The occupant looked at Mel and Vernon, then at the car with the raised hood. He hesitated for a moment, before opening the door. Mel then raised the bucket to show the name of the company on the side of the bucket. He also nodded his head and smiled as a casual greeting. The man returned the greeting and stepped out of the vehicle. He clutched a dark brown satchel containing cash for the payroll. Mel glanced at Vernon, who nodded his head and started the car's engine. The man walked through the gate before Mel picked up the deadly bucket. Mel walked with a forced nonchalance. He tried to maintain a casual pace behind his victim. His heart raced, but the increased adrenaline forced him to focus on his illegal mission. His fingers gripped the wire handle tightly, because he knew that what he carried in his right hand was a bucket full of trouble. To be continued.